You can cook almost anything with a Dutch oven. We boil, sear, fry, bake, and braise in them. We turn them into smokers, steamers, coolers, and panini presses. These just might be the busiest pots in our kitchen. Now, our longtime favorite has always been the Le Creuset 7¼ quart round Dutch oven. That pot works perfectly, but it costs more than $350. And we've seen pots that cost 7 times less. So how much do you actually have to spend to get a Dutch oven that's going to last you for years, cook everything you throw at it, and makes cooking as easy as possible? We bought 11 Dutch ovens, and they were priced from $54 to $350, including the Le Creuset. We focused on about a 6½ quart size because that fits all our recipes. And to test them, we boiled water, we cooked rice, braised beef, deep-fried French fries, seared meatballs, simmered sauce, and baked bread. Along the way, we rated each pot on how well it cooked, how easy it was to use and clean, and how durable it was. And at the end of testing, after a ton of cooking and eating, we concluded that all of these pots are actually capable of making good food. But here's the difference. Some were much easier to use. Here's what mattered. First, the material. The lighter, thinner Dutch ovens, they can scorch food because the heat zips right through them. So we focused on heavier pots. The lightest pot we had was made of ceramic and it weighed 9¾ pounds. The rest of the cast iron pots were between 14 and 18 pounds. That lightweight pot sounded like a good idea, but it just didn't hold up. Its lid cracked when we set it on the pot from just 2 inches up, so forget it. We cannot waste time babying these pots. And that left us with the cast iron pots and our next question, coated or uncoated? All but one of these cast iron pots are coated with colorful enamel. It's a type of glass-like finish. This last one has no enamel. It's just cast iron. It's by Lodge, the maker of our winning traditional cast iron skillet. Now, like the skillet, it arrived fully seasoned, but it requires a little extra care. You have to dry it and oil it immediately after you wash it. And while that's not particularly hard, it is more work. Now, in the past, when we tested a plain cast iron pot, we found that food cooked in it sometimes tasted a little metallic, especially if it was acidic, like tomato sauce, and that can strip off the pan seasoning. Now, this time around, we were pleasantly surprised. Tasters didn't notice any off flavors in the food when we first simmered tomato sauce and then we cooked white rice or French fries. Which brings me to the next major point. The interior color of the pot is key. This black pot and 4 of our enameled Dutch ovens have dark interiors, and this is a problem. Dark colors inside make it much more difficult for you to see browning. You want to keep an eye on how dark the fond gets, and that's the brown bits of food that get stuck to the bottom of the pot, like when you're searing batches of beef or stew. If those brown bits on the bottom of the pot get scorched, your whole stew will taste scorched. Dark interiors also made it really hard for us to use our remote thermometer, which we often clip onto a Dutch oven to track the temperature of oil when we're deep frying. When it's dark inside, you just can't see the tip of the probe in the oil to be sure it's not touching the pot walls. And that can give you a false reading because you're measuring the metal pan instead of the oil. Dutch ovens that have light-colored interiors gave us better visibility and were much easier to cook in. Next, shape is critical. Some pots are tall and narrow, and others are wide and short, and we really preferred the wider, shorter Dutch ovens. They had bigger cooking surfaces, at least 9 inches across, and that meant we could work faster, like when we were browning meat in batches. And low, straight sides, they're easier to see into the pot and reach in to stir. Tall sides and curved sides blocked our view into the pot. Handles also matter because we prefer heavier Dutch ovens. Those handles become hugely important, particularly if the pot's also weighed down with stew or quarts of frying oil. Handles come in 2 styles, either flat or looped. Loops are better. You just get a much more secure grip. Bigger loops are even better than that because you might have oven mitts on. In the end, we actually recommended all but 2 of these Dutch ovens. But the good and the bad news is the Le Creuset, which costs $360, it's still the best. It weighs 13.7 pounds, so it's actually the lightest of the cast iron pots, but it's still heavy enough to conduct heat well. We really love its wide, light-colored cooking surface, its low, straight sides, and its nice big looped handles. Overall, it's just exceptionally easy to use. For a less expensive option, we have a best buy. The Cuisinart Chef's Classic enameled cast iron covered casserole costs just $84. It's shaped like the Le Creuset with a nice wide cooking surface, a light interior, and low straight sides. It's 3 pounds heavier than Le Creuset and has smaller handles, but it also costs almost $300 less. Both of these models come with a limited lifetime warranty, but the Le Creuset held up better to the kind of everyday wear and tear not covered by the warranty. In our durability testing, we saw some chips around the lid and rim of the Cuisinart model, and even though chipped enamel doesn't affect how the pot cooks, we'd prefer not to have it. Our winner from Le Creuset came out of testing looking good as new, and it's going to last you a lifetime.